In today's episode, I'm going to share stories about an obscure cryptid known by the name of devil monkey. Normally found in the southeastern United States and the southwest United States, devil monkeys are described as a primate-like creature that is a subtype of Sasquatch. However, they are smaller and much more aggressive. Standing at 3 to 5 feet tall but can reach heights of 7 feet or taller, they have faces that resemble baboons with shaggy fur and long bushy tails, although some have been described as having dog-like faces. From a distance, they appear to be kangaroos with long legs and short arms. They're usually described as having fangs, pointed ears, powerful back legs that give them the ability to jump distances of up to 20 feet with ease, and 3-toed feet with razor-sharp claws. I'll admit this is a new one for me, but I love discovering and learning about new types of cryptids and telling stories about them on this channel. Unfortunately, stories about devil monkey encounters are hard to come by, but I was able to find some. These stories include a potential sighting in Ohio, an encounter involving a family dog from the early 2000s, and a woman who had a terrifying experience while driving through Virginia in the late 90s. But first, we start with the earliest documented sightings of this creature. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel, click on the join button below. Alright, let's get into today's stories. The first story of this episode is actually a collection of sightings dating back to the very first documented encounters with devil monkeys. In doing some research on devil monkeys for this episode, I came across a website with information on the creature, as well as its earliest sightings. The website is cryptids.fandom.com. I will include it in the description below if you'd like to check it out. There have been several reported encounters with a swift and dangerous creature known as the devil monkey. The first encounter with this predator occurred in 1934 in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, where witnesses claimed to see a mysterious beast that could leap great distances with, quote, lightning speed. The ground covered when these beings jump, according to some reports, can be up to 20 feet. From a distance, when people see these creatures, they believe they are seeing kangaroos. In 1959, a couple named Boyd reported the first official sighting of a devil monkey while driving through the mountains near their home in Saltville, Virginia. They described an ape-like beast that attacked their car, leaving 3 scratch marks. Their daughter Pauline described the attacker as having light taffy-colored hair with a white blaze down its neck and underbelly, standing on 2 large, well-muscled back legs and much shorter front legs or arms. In a second encounter, 2 nurses from the Saltville area were attacked by an unknown creature that ripped the convertible top off their car while they were driving home from work one morning. Fortunately, neither of the nurses was harmed during the encounter. In 1969, eyewitnesses claimed to see a long-tailed, quote, monkey beast near Momquam, British Columbia, leaving a series of distinct 3-toed tracks similar to those attributed to devil monkeys and Bigfoot. This prompted John Green, an esteemed mysterious ape researcher, to look into these reported accounts. In 1973, 3 black, bushy-tailed, quote, giant monkeys were reported to have slaughtered livestock in Albany, Kentucky. This caught the attention of famed cryptozoologist and author Lauren Coleman, who investigated the event. In a later interview with Animal Planet, Coleman would say of the reports, quote, I investigated that case in depth. I interviewed the people who were very sincere. In the whole context of devil monkey reports, it seemed extremely sincere. You have these reports of hairy monkey-like creatures with tails very different from Bigfoot. End quote. The final sighting I will mention here took place in 1979 when several reported encounters with a bipedal monkey-like creature occurred in rural Georgia. One female witness described it as, quote, the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It had a tail like a beaver's, but it's bushy, end quote. She went on to say it had, quote, a face like a dog. These features are all associated with devil monkeys, and eyewitnesses have described them as resembling a wild dog at a distance. This description suggests that they may walk both on their hind legs and on all fours. One thing I look for when trying to figure out the credibility of sightings and encounters is more than one encounter of said creature. One or two sightings can usually be written off or explained away, but when you have story after story coming in about one creature, it is hard to ignore. When this happens, people are seeing something, and that adds credibility to the encounters for me. Another thing I look at is the description of the creature in question. If it is consistent from story to story with very little variance in physical features and mannerisms, it again adds credibility for me. What do you think about these early sightings of devil monkeys? The next story comes to us from a poster who saw something bizarre while visiting his grandfather. He does not say where exactly his story takes place, just that he was in Ohio when he spotted a strange creature amongst the trees. During a recent visit to his grandfather's house, which is in close proximity to a wooded area, the original poster had the opportunity to observe a small pond and a cluster of large trees through a big window while in his grandfather's living room. As he sat on the couch, he noticed a small creature leaping from one tree to another. The creature stood approximately 3 to 4 feet tall and appeared to be bipedal, jumping from tree to tree in a manner reminiscent of a white monkey with a big tail. He says he didn't take any pictures due to the shock of seeing this creature, and that being the last thing on his mind, but he was able to maintain his focus on this thing until it disappeared from view. He notes here that his grandfather was not in the room at the time and he didn't mention the incident to him. However, he did discuss the sighting with his girlfriend, who was taken aback by what she heard. He later did some research into the topic and found out that similar sightings have been documented in Ohio. That had to be a strange thing for this young man to see, what looked like a monkey swinging through the trees in Ohio. I'll admit I don't know much about wildlife in Ohio, but I'm willing to bet they don't have wild monkeys running around in their forests. Maybe someone from Ohio can comment on this one. I mean, there could be a lot of possible explanations, but the fact that his research turned up multiple sightings of these creatures in the state really makes me wonder what he saw that day. What do you think he saw swinging through the trees outside his grandfather's home? The final story of this episode includes 2 short encounters with monkey-like creatures in areas of the United States where there shouldn't be any monkeys running around. The first is also summarized on the website cryptids.fandom.com along with the sightings I covered at the beginning of this episode. However, I found this recollection elsewhere on the internet, posted with a second encounter from a woman driving through Virginia. The first story takes place in January of 2006 when a man and his family arrived at their home in Chicago to witness a violent altercation between a strange devil-like creature and their Labrador. The creature appeared to be a combination of a monkey, dog, and devil with long fangs, a monkey-like tail, and glowing eyes. The man apparently remained calm enough to grab a camera and take a picture, with the flash from the camera sending this thing running away on its hind legs, nearly knocking over the man and his family before it disappeared through the open door. After the events of this encounter, the man's neighbor was plagued by a creature and had some pets go missing. There was also another person nearby who said they saw an identical creature as described by the man who had the original encounter in the area, hanging in a tree by its tail. In another documented encounter, a woman from Ohio had a similar experience one night in the late 90s while driving through Roanoke, Virginia. She had to take a detour due to road construction and passed a road sign that read Red Wolf Crossing near Elizabeth City. Suddenly, a black creature with short, sleek fur, pointy ears, and a long, thin tail jumped in front of her car. The being was tall, muscular, and slender, with a torso like a thin man and a head resembling that of a large monkey with a pointy beard. Its hind legs, which it was running on, were like those of a wildcat or dog, and it stood 6 feet tall. The woman confirmed with the U.S. Game and Wildlife Department that there were no black wolves in the area, but she was told she may have seen a feral dog or a wolf-dog hybrid. However, the woman was certain it was neither a wolf nor a dog. The creature had the ability to leap more than 18 feet or 6 meters in one jump, which is not typical for dogs, wolves, or even large animals like deer. The description of the creature given by the woman is similar to the infamous Dover Demon, the sightings of which began on April 21, 1977 in Dover, Massachusetts. Just like in the last story, I don't think there are wild monkeys running around Chicago or Virginia. Being that this is the case, then what could these people have witnessed? It is bizarre to say the least. But then again, if you believe in cryptids and the encounters posted online and told through various forms of media are true, then who's to say there isn't a cryptid like this out there? Once upon a time, every cryptid was obscure and not well known, with limited sightings. There was even a time when sightings of the Sasquatch, arguably the most famous cryptid out there, were few and far between, with it believed to only exist in the Pacific Northwest. Now there are sightings coming in from all over the world, seemingly on a daily basis. What do you think these creatures are? Devil monkeys or something else? And that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed these stories. If you'd like to hear more stories like these and other types of cryptids, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want to send me your story, I'd love to read it. My email is wolfwhocriedcryptid@gmail.com. I will also put it in the description below. With your permission, I may want to use it in an episode. Even if you'd prefer that I didn't share your story on my channel and just want someone to listen, email me. We can privately talk about your encounter. And please remember to keep it civil in the comments section. No one deserves to be ridiculed whether they believe or not. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you at the next episode.